to tell you how they fear about their lives. I don't want to call names, but the point is, if we must continue like this as a country, then let the security be striped off of every politician. Let us be working without security. So they face the same challenge we face on the street on daily basis. I think that is the easiest way to fix this.
I agree with you 100%.
Madness.
I agree with you 100%, comrade.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you.
Update on the Trump threat to Nigeria guns ablazing. I am Comrade Chidi James.
Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by the thousands. It's a genocide, and I'm really angry about it. And we pay, we give a lot of subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They're very ineffective. They're killing Christians at will. And, until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it.
Well, President Trump is reacting today to what we've been covering for a couple of weeks now, but really leaned in with my panel that I hosted at the UN at the request of Ambassador Michael Waltz. And he also invited superstar rapper Nicki Minaj, because she has a pastor who's Nigerian and has jumped into this as an advocate for those under attack. Horrific violence in Nigeria against mostly Christians, and a third mass kidnapping this week alone. So it's getting worse under President Tinubu over there. In this attack, gunmen targeted a Catholic school just days after that attack on a Christian church. Islamic terrorists in Nigeria. There are now 22 of those groups, including Boko Haram, and some of them are aligned with ISIS. They are targeting Christians and have been for years. Some experts, as well as the president, are saying that the mass slaughter needs to be contained. And you heard him here. The government now over there has to do something about this. I joined U.S. Ambassador Waltz for an event on the crisis earlier this week.
I served in Nigeria helping train their Navy SEALs for hostage rescues and to go find these girls. And Harris, it is horrific what is happening to them right now. We were able to get many of them back, but not all of them. And as a father of a daughter, it's just horrific to think little girls, 8, 9 years old, being kidnapped out of their schools and sold into Islamic sex slavery.
Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has the latest. Greg.
Hi, Harris. That's right. More violence in Nigeria. Christians again under fire. A Catholic secondary school in the town of Gwara in northwestern Nigeria attacked by gunmen. Local media says as many as 52 kids were kidnapped. A desperate search involving military and police is on right now. And yes, earlier this week, a Catholic church nearby was attacked. 2 people were killed and 38 worshipers abducted. The ransom per person, $69,000. Thousands of Christians have been killed in recent years there, leading some, yes, to speak of a Christian genocide. President Trump has branded Nigeria a country of particular concern regarding religious freedom, threatening to apply sanctions and send in U.S. troops. Here's how a State Department official put it at a congressional briefing yesterday.
The Trump administration is developing a plan to incentivize and compel the Nigerian government to better protect Christian communities and improve religious freedom.
Still, the Trump administration and analysts say others are getting hurt, too, by Islamist terrorists, organized bandits, militants. 25 children were kidnapped at another school in western Nigeria on Monday. 1 escaped. That happened in a Muslim area. Harris, Nigerian officials claim they are not persecuting any religion, but many analysts say at the very least they are certain that the government officials are not protecting their own citizens. Back to you.
Yeah, and as we've been pointing out, it's mostly young girls and women, and that's what we saw in that church. And those new numbers are just heartbreaking, how many more people were kidnapped and killed in that church attack that we showed this week. Greg, thank you very much for the update.
Meanwhile, the lobbies led by the Nigeria's security advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, have struck a meeting with the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. The closed-door meeting was held in the White House. Details of the meeting was not disclosed to press yet, but analysts suggest that the lobbies are striking a time deal, a time extension, to deal with the terrorists. Their plan is to stall Trump's military action in Nigeria. A growing number of Nigerians have continued to call on Trump to hasten up whatever action he needs to take to save Nigerians from this menace.
Well, the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and Joint Chief Chairman General Dan Kane met with Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, at the Pentagon following President Donald Trump's threats to send U.S. troops to Nigeria. Now, the agenda of the closed-door meeting between Hegseth and the Nigerian NSA was not made clear to the press, and whether the American military would actually change its posture in Africa, which officials have long warned has become the world's hotbed for extremist terrorism. Earlier this month, Trump ordered the Department of Defense, now also referred to as the Department for War, to prepare for possible fast military action in Nigeria over claims that the Nigerian government is not doing enough to prevent killing of Christians. Trump also put Nigeria back on a list of countries that the US says have violated religious freedom. Meanwhile, Nigeria's government has rejected the designation of the country as a country of particular concern, with officials claiming that the allegation is baseless and it's not protecting groups of people because of religious beliefs was based on misinformation and faulty data. There has been a surge in violence in Nigeria with tens and thousands of civilians killed in recent years. According to independent crisis monitoring groups, that is, they also say that the tally represents both Muslims and Christians in the country. President Trump sending US ground troops into Nigeria would pose significant logistical and security challenges as well, and that is due to Nigeria's remote terrain, porous borders, and a population likely to flinch at foreign presence. Our correspondent Louisa Oleni has sent us this report. Listen in.
After weeks of possible military intervention in Nigeria by President Trump, U.S. says it's considering sanctions and engagement on counterterrorism as part of a plan to compel the Nigerian government to better protect Christian communities and religious freedom. Jonathan Pra, the senior official leading the State Department's Bureau of African Affairs, told the House of Reps Foreign Affairs Committee on Thursday. Now, the Nigerian delegation comprising the National Security Advisor, Defense Chiefs, Chief of Defense Intelligence and Head of Police arrived in Washington on Wednesday to meet the Trump administration officials and U.S. lawmakers. It is expected that most things discussed will not be made public for security reasons. Now, Nigeria, with about 200 ethnic groups practicing Christianity, Islam, and traditional religions, has a long history of peaceful coexistence, but there have also been flare-ups of violence among groups, often aroused by ethnic divisions or conflict over scarce resources. From Lagos, Nigeria, Louisa Olani, Buyon, World is One.
When some of us tell you that our problem as a people is religion, you will not believe it. You will not believe it, yes. At a time when Nigerians are crying out to the United States government, President Donald Trump, to assist Nigeria in whatever ways he can, especially now that he has designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern once again in 2025. Again, Enoch Adabe interferes. He said on the pulpit, if I were to say, I will suggest that this government does not approach this matter with violence. He said, I will advise that this government approaches or liaises with the U.S. government to give them more time. At least they will need a time extension of at least 90 to 100 days so that they will be able to use up this time to clear off all the mess before before the international community. Yes. No doubt, this formed the basis of the NSA and other security chiefs meeting with the U.S. Secretary of War, Peter Hegseth, on Thursday. 20th November 2025. My confusion here is, what is the problem of Nigerians? What has young Nigerian Christians or young Nigerians or even Nigerians who are struggling to survive, that, in fact, let me even talk about Nigerians who are being killed on daily basis. What have they done? Any hope for the ones alive? Is there any hope? This same man in 2012 led a group of Nigerians to protest against a government that was doing well. A government that dollar was as at then 150 naira against $1. This same man of God, was protested against a government that has taken over as the #1 economy in Africa, that has taken over as the best GDP in Africa, even ahead of South Africa. Inflation then was between 7 to 9%. Today, inflation is between 51 to 57%. And he has lost his voice. No complaint about the economy. No, he is only telling us to pray, 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 and pray. At the time, Nigerians are begging President Trump to help Nigerians, assist Nigerians in whatever he can to liberate Nigeria from this madness. I agree, Christians are dying, Muslims are dying, but all these people are Nigerians, whether Muslims or Christians. And this death must be put to a stop by radical change. My question is why is it that anytime Nigeria wants to make a remarkable progress, this man stands as a clog in the wheel of progress? Seeking for time extension they will only use this time extension to play politics in Nigeria, and at the end of the day, whatever is happening will continue to happen. When international community looks away from the happenings in Nigeria, that ends it. Nigerians will continue to die like fowl on daily basis, while politicians cloaked in religious garb will continue to fly their private jets and continue to double on their assignments and their duties. It would have been fair to me if this man is named the political advisor to President Tinubu. Yes, we would know, yes, you are discharging a duty. Anyway, you can say his hands are tied. After all, Oluremi Tinubu and Professor Yemi Osibanjo are woman and man of God in this church. So you can say his hands are tied for sure. Let me use this opportunity again to remind Alia, the governor of Benue State, that you were a Christian before becoming a governor. Data from the Catholic Bishop Council of Nigeria gets to you before it gets to other church members. As of today, data from the Catholic Bishops Council of Nigeria says between 2015 to 2025, a period of 10 years, yes, a time which has been controlled by APC government in Nigeria. During this time, Nigerians have witnessed the worst terrorist attacks ever in the history of Nigeria. But then, a total of 204 Catholic priests and seminarians have been adopted, and about 15 to 16 of them died in the process. This is figures from the Catholic Bishops Council of Nigeria, which is available first to Alia before getting to the hands of ordinary church members. Thousands of churches have been attacked, yet Alia say there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. I want to use this opportunity to beg the Catholic Bishops Council of Nigeria to relieve Alia of his duties as a priest. It is best he faces his calling as a politician. Nigerians had expected that his opportunity as a priest and as a governor would have made the difference. Unfortunately, he became a governor and started observing the table manners, which is usual with the Nigerian politicians. While so many cases of Christian targeting has happened, the Nigerian media has already been silent, always been silent on these events, not knowing that the international community have also a way of getting their informations even right down here from Nigeria without the Nigerian media. For the Khan that has been taking sides of government, strategizing with government and deceiving the international community about the events in Nigeria, I don't know if you are the type of bishops that we saw sometime in the past, the bishops, some of the bishops were even later seen on Jumat prayer or prayer ground doing their dua, as it is called in Arabic. So I don't know, but however and whatever it may be, or you are the Khan or Saint Maltina Khan, whatever you are, whoever you call yourself, I only want to remind all of you that for you, those of you who are having your private jets, you are staying on the side of government so that what you are getting will keep coming. No problem. All those material acquisitions, you will leave them here. Even your body, you will leave it here. But you will answer your creator. Should you succeed in deceiving the international community on the events in Nigeria and what is happening, that Christians are not dying, Muslims are not dying, everything is well, that these things are just cosmetic, empty cups are being buried, as Guvmi has said, and all the lies you will help because you are intelligent, you are smart, you can cook all your lies and send them to the international community. After all, you have the microphone, you have the pulpit. No problem. Remember, I say remember, one day will come. And that day, only you will sit on that throne of judgment. Whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, one day will come. And for Nigerians who are trying to communicate the international community in the best way you can, please keep telling the truth. Christians are being targeted in Nigeria. Christians are being killed in Nigeria. While I will admit that some Muslims are also killed, the target is basically Christians. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria. 9:29.